Okay, hello all. So I am here with a run of Leetcode questions. So I just wanted to revise these topics, and so I'm here today. So let's start with these basic topics on linked list. My idea is to finish linked list within the next hour or so. So let's get started. So merge two sorted lists. You're given the heads of two sorted linked lists, list 1 and 2, and you need to merge the two lists into one sorted list. The list should be made by splicing together the nodes of the first two lists and return the head of the merged linked list. So in this case, we have these two linked lists and they are individually sorted. However, when you merge it, the order of the nodes might change. All right. So let's take an example that I have list 1 and 2. List 1 and 2, and when I merge them together, the output should be something like this. Okay, so how do I understand that? That I have list 1, I start with the first node and I compare with the first node of the second list. If the first node of this list is bigger than the second, or if let's say I take first list as the priority, so what do I do? If the first item of this list is greater than this, then I put it behind this element. And if this is smaller than this, then I put it before this element. But if it's equal, we'll just stick to like a default mode of putting it behind. And similarly, I go to the next item. Okay, let's say this is greater, so I add it after this. Okay, are we supposed to merge the two lists into one, or can we create a new list? Looks like I may go ahead and create a new list of called merge list. Merge list, okay. And I need another thing called head 1 and head 2. Head of linked list 1 and head of linked list 2. What do? I start with the first item. If this is greater, then I put it after this. And then I move the pointer. Oh, I need to move the pointer. This is greater than or equal to, then I add it behind in the first pointer. And when I add the pointer, what do I say? That the head of one's next is now going to be the next the head 2. And when I have again, the previous of this remains the same. So if h2 is greater than h1, I'm assuming value in here. So what happens in that situation is that head 1's next is now going to be equal to head 2, and head 2's previous is now going to be equal to head 1, right? Okay. And then I move the head 2. I move the head 2 to next and head 1 to next. No, what if this was a number like 3 and this was 2? What if this was 2 and 2? You wouldn't want to move it forward. Just compare these items. Actually, you could. Okay, so another important thing is that I need to think of whether list 1 exists or not, and whether list 2 exists or not. So if list 1 exists, that means, okay, so if list 1 exists, that means I'm going to check that if the list 1's value is less than list 2's value. If this is true, that means that you know what? I think I'm just gonna create a dummy node. Dummy that starts with a 0, that has the value 0, and I am also going to create a list node which is equal to, which I'm going to create a pointer which basically points to this dummy node. Okay. So I need to check if the value of this, the value of list 1 is less than the value of list 2's first value or not. Okay. Let me go back to the original values. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 1, 2, 4. Okay. So either the values can be less or the values can be more, or the value can be greater than or equal to. So what are we going to do in either of these cases? We are going to say that if list 1 is smaller than list 2, okay, that means if this item, let's say, becomes 0, so what would you do? Oh, no, actually, if this item, let's say, was 0, what would you do in such a situation? You would just go and start to put list 1's next. Should be stored somewhere so that the list 1's next is basically after adding, so after combining them together, we would have something like 0, 1, and 2. 0, 1, and 2 in ideal situation. So what are we doing? In here? We are taking the next of this item is basically equal to, what are we doing? The next of this item is basically equal to node 1, list 1's. Next has to be stored somewhere. Can I just call it as a dummy? Okay, so I know I need to store list 1's next. I know that I need to store list 1's next somewhere in this node's list 2's node somewhere. List 2 node somewhere. So what do I do? Okay, let's make use of this dummy node. So my current pointer is at a dummy value, is like a dummy value added over here, and the next list 1's value is less than list 2's value. So okay, what I can do is that this node's next is going to be my list 1. That means this is my node's next. So I basically added my dummy node before it. And next of the dummy node, this dummy node's next is basically equal to list 1. Okay, alright. And then the list 1's next is now actually started. So what am I going to do? That node is equal to node's next. List 1 is equal to list 1's next. That list 1 is equal to list 1 is actually equal to list 1's next. This node, so I attach this node over here, and I say that, okay, so the next item for you is list 1, and list 1 is now equal to just list 1's next. Node's next is equal to list 1. Node's next is equal to list 1. My list is now actually to list 1's next. This is where I put my list 1. And if this is smaller, what is the magic that I would do there? And that I would take the nodes next is equal to list 2. That is, I add the dummy node over here next of list 2, and list 2. List 2's pointer will now advance to list 2's next. Mainly, I know that I need to traverse from the node is equal to nodes next. And what do I do with this once I'm done? So nodes next is equal to list 1. If list 1 exists, if the nodes, okay, so based on whichever ends first, if list 1 exists, that means I just append and the next node is list 1. Otherwise, I append that as list 2, and I finally return the dummies next.